Hello, wonderful people. Welcome to this week's episode of Moments with Pastor Funke. As always, it's a delight for us to bring this brief inspiration from the Word of God. Thank you for always tuning into our videos. Our aim is to be a blessing to the thousands of people who follow us from around the world. Okay. In this new release, I'd like to bring a few things to our attention about Thanksgiving. I've actually titled this Gold Standards. In many parts of the world, this is Thanksgiving season. That time of the year when people gather together with their families and especially in churches to thank God for His faithfulness in their lives throughout the year. As with many other celebrations that started in the church, Thanksgiving time, unfortunately, has become more or less commercialized in many parts of the world. What with the buying and selling of food, clothes, and the like, we have totally missed the essence of being thankful to God. There are even some of us who bring Thanksgiving offerings to God because we want to transact business with Him. What I mean by this is that the motives for bringing our offerings are reasons far from love for Him and gratitude for His sacrifice for us on the cross of Calvary. All right. So does God really accept our sacrifices when the motives are less than honorable? Let's read a passage from scriptures in Micah chapter 6 and verses 6 to 8. Listen to what it says. With what shall I come before the Lord and bow down before the exalted God? Shall I come before Him with burnt offerings, with calves a year old? Will the Lord be pleased with thousands of rams, with 10,000 rivers of olive oil? Shall I offer my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul? He has shown you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God. Friends, the truth is it is easier to buy gifts for God through His church than to forgive your brother that hurt you. How about your wife or husband, or perhaps your best friend who betrayed your trust? Yet that's exactly what God is calling you and I as His children to do, at least if we have His Spirit in us. Listen again to God's gold standards. Act justly. The word justly is from the root word to judge. In other words, to do justice, to proclaim righteous verdicts. Isn't it sad when you see judges that subvert justice? It's indeed a travesty. God is not pleased with such a person, and the Bible warns us of such wicked acts. But unfortunately, we continue to see acts like this in many courts. The second gold standard we read out earlier is to love mercy. It's interesting because it doesn't say to show mercy, but to love mercy. Friends, being compassionate should be natural to us who claim to be Christians. It's not just what we do, it's who we are. Of course, there are so many benefits that are available to those who are merciful, chief of which is that we ourselves are recipients of God's mercies. Nothing could be more valuable than that. Listen to Romans chapter 9, verses 15 and 16. For it says to Moses, I will have mercy on whomever I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whomever I will have compassion. So then it is not of him who wills, nor of him who runs, but of God who shows mercy. Friends, human effort can do little or nothing in the absence of God's mercy. The third standard we read about earlier is walking humbly with God. This is also easier said than done, especially in today's world where competition and self-effort are promoted. Many people ascribe the praise for their successes only to their own effort. I'm smart. I work hard for my money. I'm beautiful. Now, don't get me wrong. As God's children, we certainly have an important part to play in achieving our goals and objectives. God expects us to put effort into our work. We should plan and work hard to execute our plans, no doubt about it. However, we must also realize that the grace to do what we do comes from God. Apostle Paul got this concept right in 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 10. But by the grace of God, I am what I am, and His grace toward me was not in vain. But I labored more abundantly than they all, yet not I, but the grace of God which was with me. You see, friends, though God's grace was abundant upon Paul's life, he labored a lot more than others. In fact, one of the works of grace is to empower us to do more than we could do without it. So thank God for what you've achieved. Be proud of your accomplishments when you have worked a good work, but ascribe the honor to God who gives the grace to you. As I close now, does this mean we shouldn't dance, celebrate, wear beautiful clothes, and give God gifts? No, we should do all these things. However, beyond these things, let's allow our lives to be molded after what is pleasing to God, those things that money cannot buy. Thank you, dear friends, for joining us and watching our videos. I hope you've been inspired again by this teaching. Until we bring another fresh word next week, do stay strong and keep it together. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so now and click the notification button. That way you are alerted once we post a new video. God bless you all. I'm your host, Pastor Funke. Bye for now.